Record, the movie podcast where Sean
and Michael
watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law, and guess what we saw?
We saw the last voyage of the Demeter.
It's me. I'm the vampire.
The vampire. Dracula.
Is this a good movie? How did you feel about this movie?
Okay, I have some thoughts about it.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the point of that. Oh, I didn't know I was going to have to share.
If you didn't,
we'd
it'd
have
be
a
real.
problem.
So, what if we just described it dispassionately?
Yeah.
Well, there's a boat.
There was
the
a
boat's made of wood,
yeah.
and then there's sails.
There's masts.
Sorry, I don't want to advertise.
Don't advertise your soda, but you can probably still guess from the red and white.
Can
red,
you
white,
guess
and
what
black.
this soda is?
I
This
think-
brown cola
brown
flavored.
water. Isn't that weird? Like, it's
yes.
just soda water,
just
but
brown. Yeah.
What is the brown, I wonder?
The
don't wanna
brown
know?
is the flavor. They sprinkle the flavor in.
That's where the flavor comes in.
So this is the plot of this film.
Oh, but yeah, I don't know.
It's fine, yeah.
It's just kind of one of those, like, it would be
Yeah.
on in the background.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
I don't know if it happens to be on, I probably won't go, oh God, no, turn it off.
Yeah.
But I won't actively watch it.
I won't say, oh God, yes, keep it on.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness, the last voyage. I mean, it's one of those movies, the title alone,
yeah.
you're like, that's not a classic.
I could never like this movie.
The last voyage of the Demeter.
Hey, let's put on the last voyage of the Demeter.
But we got to watch the first voyage first.
Hey, dude, you want to watch the last voyage of the Demeter? You could never like it.
Yeah, no, I don't
Upgrade,
think
a movie
so.
like Upgrade.
You could like.
You're like, hell,
but-
man, let's watch Upgrade. You're like, oh yeah.
Even the last voyage would be
The last
better
voyage
than
of the Demeter,
yeah, the Demeter,
Dracula boat,
Dracula boat,
vampire boat, blood boat,
fangs,
fang boat,
fangs of the seas,
ship of blood, ship
Bite.
of fangs,
suck
the
me,
dirt boys,
suck me dry now,
suck. I thought you said suck meat.
suck meat. Yeah,
Which I-
kind of.
Suck meat.
We have a
The movie.
delicious sucked meat. We sucked it ourselves.
Tonight the special is the sucked meat. Comes from, one of those local farmers.
Yeah, but we suck it here.
Yeah. It's sucked on the premises. This is in-house sucking. But this is what happens in the movie.
Yes.
Well, strangely, this is what happens in the movie. The first thing they say is, this is from the book Dracula.
That was such a weird choice.
It's really weird.
Like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like they were saying, because they were listing out, like, this is from the captain's log. And it's like, we're not going to get confused that this is fake. Like,
Yeah.
we're not like, oh, it's okay, good. It's from a
I thought
book.
this was a documentary
Yeah,
about
hold
the
up.
last voyage of the Demeter, where they had, I guess they had cameras on the Demeter.
Yes, they set up
But the vampire was like, I'm not going to eat them. They're doing a film.
a found footage. It's like found footage from that era, so it's just like writing. Oh man, a book. A book is kind of the found footage of that
Wow.
era. Or a picture. Like if you had
Dracula kind of
photos.
is, because it's all told in like diaries and stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't think about that. Whoa.
So,
Pretty exciting.
they're inside of Bram Stoker's book, The
Yes.
Dracula Man.
Yeah, they can't escape.
And then they're on a boat taking all these mysterious dragon boxes
Yes,
to
the
England.
dragon boxes.
And a one-eyed man says, nah, son, I will not go.
I'm out.
And then everybody on the boat gets killed, including, spoiler alert, a little boy.
Yeah, oh.
And then
Wow.
the black guy survives, which is good.
I was surprised.
And then Dracula's like, me too.
Yeah, I'm also alive.
I'm alive.
Spoiler alert.
Except it's never that fun. Like,
No.
it's never, the vampire doesn't ever have fun.
Not at all. It's a very like.
He's not sexy. He doesn't even seem like he enjoys food.
Yeah, he's just like doing stuff.
It's like me when I'm like watching TV and eating food at the same time, where I'm just like, all right,
Oh, whatever. Yeah,
just, like,
just get it in
eating
there.
fries, just like forcing fries into my body.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's as if he was a 3D rendered creature
Yeah.
that had no emotion or
Yeah.
feeling or anything, just doing things it was animated to do, is kind of how I would place it.
It's especially weird because in, I mean, maybe this is part advertising, but in the advertising they keep showing, like them putting the like all the rubber and the makeup on a person.
Which
It's
is,
like, well, when was he that?
yeah, when was he that?
It may be another thing. Recently, I sent you a tweet that was the big rolling ball scene from Fast X.
Yes.
And it's just, well, they were actually rolling a ball and hitting buses with it, but they just
Amazing.
put so much CG on top of it that it looks fake.
It looks and that's incredible because
What a bad choice.
yeah, you wouldn't think that was real at
What a
all.
horrible choice.
The one thing that looked totally fake was real.
Yeah.
And the cars weren't apparently. I don't know.
Some of the cars, who knows? But they did the same thing. I guess they did the same thing in this because every
Shot
single
looked
thing
fake.
looks fake. Yeah,
There's some like out of focus of where he's like shaking when he's like weak.
Yeah,
You're like,
that looks
maybe
kinda cool.
that's real.
But yeah, almost
I
everything
don't
else
know.
just like, oh no, the big fake thing's gonna get me.
Yeah, that's always a tough thing for me in horror
Yeah.
when it's just completely fake. I think the only time I was okay with it was like A Quiet Place or something where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's this impossibly fast thing. It's
Yeah.
huge. Okay, I guess.
And
that
also,
makes sense.
they do their best to like, oh,
Yeah.
we see it's got a weird leg, and okay,
Yeah.
and then in the very end, it's like, okay, we'll see the thing, and then
Which
that's
is
it.
the way you're supposed to do it, not just like, hey, the second time we see it, let's just show the whole thing's
The full face.
No, actually, the first time we see it,
yeah,
let's do a zoomed in, blurry, like hilarious looking.
yeah.
That was okay. We can't talk about bad stuff yet.
And then they get back, and then they make it to England, and they're all okay.
Yeah, all of the
Except the dead.
Everyone's
Everyone who's dead is not okay, obviously.
they're all dead.
But Dracula's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's living his life. He's loving it. He's dressed to the nines.
Yeah, he's got a hat. He's got a special coat. He's got a cool cane,
Cane that he goes boom boom.
which is just like a pure affectation, which is nice.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I can fly. I definitely don't need a cane, but it just
It's
makes me
fun.
feel
Yeah.
like I'm pimping. And he probably could see in the future and know what a pimp was.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
do wonder how the transformation takes place, because in this he's like full on bat arms,
Yes.
just flying around. But inside of his clothes, that seems kind of difficult. I wonder,
Yeah.
do the clothes just melt, or are they real? Maybe they're illusion clothes.
oh.
Maybe none of it's real.
The lady also, I don't know, former
Yes.
current vampire lady
Anna.
also says, oh yeah, he pretends to be a person, but he's not a person. It's
Yeah,
like,
okay.
and at the end they show him and he looks nothing like a person.
Yeah, at all.
He just looks exactly like a vampire.
Yeah, like that's the one
Got, like,
time he
big
was
teeth.
a real person,
Yeah.
like with makeup on.
Yeah.
You're like, if I saw that person, I go, that is 1,000% not a human.
Definitely a
like,
vampire.
I'm staying the hell away
We better
from
get
that
out
guy.
of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go towards the sun.
Yeah.
You know what's good about this movie?
Yes.
You know what's the very best part? Some say the beef lamb
The
gyro.
beef
of this
lamb
movie.
gyro of this movie.
Will you tell me?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It took me a while to think of it because it is a very like middle
Yeah.
thing, but I think I'm gonna have to go with the ship. The Demeter itself.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen a movie on a boat in a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like this boat.
Yeah.
So that I thought they did a good job
And it
presenting the boat.
seems also like a boat is one of the few things where it's easy to place it in a CG world.
Yeah,
or
for
like
sure.
easier because there's lots of ropes, there's lots of sails, there's lots of things obscuring
Yes.
the background. So it's like, well, they're sort of
They're in the
seems like
water.
they're kind of in the water.
And they did a good job for the most part. It seemed, I mean, obviously I know the giant storms aren't real and stuff,
Sure.
but it's like, it seems, blends fine.
Yeah.
Seems fine.
It was
to
good
me.
but
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean level.
Yeah.
Well, back then.
Yeah.
Now.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah.
This is what happened. This is going to sound like a negative thing, but it's actually a pre-positive thing. It's before I say
Oh.
anything positive.
I
I just
love
want
it.
to say this sort of negative thing. I saw a few different people say that it was like Master and Commander, but with vampires,
With the
and I was like,
vampire.
oh, that sounds amazing.
Dark Master.
and
and
this was
Commander.
not.
Dang.
It was rough to have
Compare
that
that, yeah.
because I was like, oh man, that's gonna be fucking amazing.
I've never seen Master and Commander.
If you like this boat,
I like that boat.
Just picture this boat, but with like a really awesome movie.
Okay, cool.
Russell
I like
Crowe's
it.
in it. There's like kid soldiers.
What?
It's really cool.
That sounds amazing.
It's really, really fucking
Master
good, dude.
and Commander. Does he
Just
do
like-
an accent?
Yeah, he just does the. I mean,
The
you know,
classic.
I'm British Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
not I'm Australian Russell Crowe.
That's good.
Yes, man, the bar.
Oh, bah, 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 bah.
Get the sails up and gosh darn
Do
it!
something else.
Don't forget to move the.
There were a lot of times in this movie where like people would just say something that
Yes.
just kind of sounded like, "Is that the thing?"
Yep.
Go check the supplies. All right. Okay, I guess I'll do that. Well,
Yeah, they look
all right. Still supplied.
still there.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't know. Fall through the bottom of the boat. I
Yeah.
guess. This is the best part of the movie.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
So there's a little boy,
Yes, Toby.
and he gets killed, which is great.
Classic.
He gets murdered by a vampire, gets eaten, which is good. But then they're gonna throw him off the ship because he's a dead body. You can't leave a dead body on the ship.
Oh, you really can't.
And his dad's like, wait 1 minute. I think I saw him move. And he peels open the shroud that covers his dead body. And he's like, got vampire eyes. Bing!
Ring.
And, and he goes to attack. And then the sun hits him. And it's like he just sets on fire.
Immediately.
He starts to burn his dad. And then they just
crazy.
kick him off the boat. And he just sinks.
Yeah, it's
And then
wild.
I do like that part a whole lot genuinely.
Yes.
But then they really turn it bad. This is like a good thing that turns into a bad thing
Yes.
because they show him sinking for the longest
It's
time.
bad. I was like,
and
why?
his head is burnt. It's like a
It's
burnt
really
head.
weird. His
and he's
mouth's wide
sinking.
open. It looks so weird. Yeah, it's really
he's-
weird.
he's
I was like, why did they choose to
It's
do that?
man, there's some weird choices like that in this
There's
movie.
some really funny.
We're not
choices.
talking about negative stuff yet.
Milo,
but
man,
we will.
it made me like I was almost howling laughing in the theater. Like it was really hard for me to hold it in.
Let me say one more good
Yes,
thing, and then we can
please.
say all the bad things we want.
I'm trying to think of other good things. I like some of the performances were fine. I don't know. None of them were like amazing,
No.
but they didn't have anything to work with.
Mhm.
The doctor just keeps going like, "I believe in science," and it's like, okay, but at a
Me,
certain
yes.
point-
Well, yes. The woman, she has her own agency, and me, yes, I'm the smartest guy in the ship, and I'm a black guy, and this is just the way.
This is the way it is.
This is the way it is. Yes.
And, like, yeah, it was. I really went in like I knew walking in. I went. I'm way more excited for this than I should be.
Yes.
Like, there's no reason I should be this.
No.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's kind of a fun horror idea.
Yeah, Dracula boat.
But yeah, oh, I'm about to sneeze.
Gesundheit. Dracula boat.
That's number 2. As long as I don't sneeze a third time, I'll be fine.
If you sneeze the third time, you turn into
I
Beetlejuice.
turn into Beetlejuice, and I don't want to go through that again.
No.
I tell you what,
Interesting. I just thought. No, never mind.
they'll
So
never know.
other good thing. There's a bit throughout of them banging on the boat
Yes,
that, for the most part, makes no sense.
it makes zero
I
sense.
don't understand. They're banging on the boat, and somehow everyone in the ship can hear it. But even more weird,
Mm-hmm.
when they bang on the boat, there's like an echo.
Yeah.
So it goes goo goo
Goo, 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 goo.
But it's why I don't know. I have no idea
And
why.
there's no way, like, it's not really an effective communication device because they're like, bang on the boat so you don't have to yell for anybody. But every time they do it, they end up yelling for
Yeah.
or going to look for the person anyway.
And
It's like, what?
there's times when they just bang on the boat randomly for no reason. When
Yeah.
they're not sounding the alarm.
Every time they're explaining it, they're banging on the boat, and you're like, well, you're confusing people, right?
Yeah. Oh shit.
But don't do it right now because people will think that something's happening.
Obviously, don't do it now.
But yeah, no, like the chef just like banging on the boat for no reason. You're like, what?
Don't you know the rule
Hey,
about?
whoa.
But then they bring that bit back at the very end.
Oh, right.
The doctor he's drawing a stupid picture of the lady, and he's in a bar, and he's like, and now's my time to be I thought that I was, and he's saying some sort of speech that.
Yeah, I'll find the one guy.
After that, I'll do good things because I'm the good guy.
Yep.
And then we hear kloosh, kloosh.
Gloosh, gloosh.
And it's the Dracula man with his cane.
Chilling, and he's like,
which I liked.
Oh, hey.
I liked as like
Yeah, it was a good
remember earlier
ghoul
thing. Even though I didn't like the bit in the first place, I thought the callback worked pretty well.
Yeah, and I like that. Like earlier, Dracula's holding up the doctor, and he like slices his neck.
Yes.
And the doctor's like, "I'm not afraid of you."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, this part isn't good." He's like, "You will be." It's like really almost
Really
impossible
weird.
to hear, and you're like,
Yeah.
Okay, but then I like the callback when he like walks past him and brushes his neck. And he's like, oh.
And I think one of the reasons I like this scene is because it's one of the only times the movie is like having fun.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because Dracula's wearing a hat and he's got a cane and he's like, what? Oh, and then he's like walking down the street and he's like, I'm going to go find Dracula and it's going to be cool. And you're like, oh, this seems fun.
This is
rather than
cool.
just like, oh, it sure is sad to be killed by Dracula on the sea.
Every one of us gonna die.
We're all very sad. Yeah, it's just a dumb idea for.
Well, because you realize it's the intro to a movie,
Yeah,
and it's not a whole movie, and you're like, because that would be the first 10 minutes of a regular movie,
Yes.
and then he'd be hunting Dracula,
yeah,
or it would be he'd tell it in some exposition like, I was on the Demeter, and I blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah, and then it would be the movie,
Yeah.
and now it just feels like.
Oh,
Okay, because there's not going to be a sequel. This
No.
isn't going to be the Blade, like,
No.
I'm a cool doctor hunting. Because he's not Van Helsing, even though I think that's what they're trying to allude
Sort
to,
of,
but
yeah.
that's not his name. So
Yeah.
it's like, Dr. Clemens.
But
Yeah.
wait, was there another thing? I thought there was one more thing. I can't think of anything else.
Trying to think.
We might think of something positive as we talk about the worst part
Yeah.
of the movie.
The low man.
The low man of this movie was just me being on the verge of sleep for almost the whole time. Just like, okay, like I don't think I full on
Yeah.
started awake, but I
Yeah.
was close where I was just like, I better keep my eyes wide
I
open
was
or
kind
else I'm gonna
of
fall
worried
asleep.
because I didn't get that much sleep last night. I was like, oh man. But what happened was I just kept drinking my soda, so I'd have to pee. So it kept me alert. I was like, man, I had to pee for the last 30 minutes. And then I got up when I thought it was safe to get up. And then I came back, someone was on fire. So I was like, oh shit, I missed something. I guess they tied him up.
Yeah, they
And-
tied up Bergalam,
Bergalam.
and he burned
He merged.
in the sun.
Yeah, this guy was like smashing his head through the door.
Yeah, real
Which-
Hereditary vibes.
Very Hereditary, very Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Once you see those, you can't really compete.
Yeah.
Because they're so brutal.
Yeah.
And this just kind of felt goofy.
Yeah,
Like his
but
head
not fun, goofy.
banging. I've seen a movie do that before too, where characters like banging their head, and it was it's freaking The Happening.
Oh,
Which
yes.
that scene was hilarious to me. The old lady just like. And the part where she bangs through glass and it looks so funny. It's like, this is not working. I'm
Classic
sorry.
film.
It's funny when people think something's like so horrific, but it's just goofy. Like,
Yeah.
this is like, there was a lot of moments in this movie they're trying to be something and they were just
Yes.
silly. Like the lady drifting off at the end, she realizes Dracula's curse is taking
awful.
over. She's like, I'm gonna sit on this and stare at the sun, but it just looks so stupid.
Yes.
Like her floating on water, like a piece of wood on fire, just didn't work.
And it's one of those things where it kind of reminds you of like in Sunshine when the captain
Yeah.
is like, "Oh, I gotta, in order to save everybody, I gotta stay up here." And
Yeah.
he just knows he's gonna burn him, that kind of thing. But that has some poetry to it, and this has no poetry
None
to it.
at all. You're just
And
like,
also,
all right.
it's one of those things where they start to do the bad effects.
Yeah,
It's like, well, just get really far away from her.
Yeah, get as far away as possible.
And then set it on fire. Fire just looks cool. We'll see the reflection of fire in the water.
Yeah.
Then it'll look good.
Even a prosthetic person, like a practical effects person reflected in the water on fire would probably look cool.
Yeah.
It is just so tough. I don't think these graphics have not held up, I'm sure, but I actually remember enjoying, do you remember 30 Days of Night?
Yes.
That movie, I remember enjoying it. I don't know if it holds up anymore. I watched it when I was like in high school.
I remember it being kind of okay. Fun.
Yeah, and I remember at the end of that, big spoiler if you care about that movie from 20 years ago, where the main guy becomes the vampire to stop every vampire. And at the end, it's like an emotional, he's like burning. That, I was like, okay, that works.
Yeah.
But for some reason in this, the scenes with the fire, like, I did like this scene where the kid catches on fire, but it was like so insane.
The fire is stupid.
It's like, what the fuck? And he's like biting his dad and like catching him on fire. I was like, this is so insane.
Yeah.
And I just love the thought of like the captain, no, I have to see my son. And then he's like all burned up and like, at least kill him right then.
Yeah.
'Cause it was just like, okay, now he's just a burned up guy.
I got a burnt
It
son.
was weird. And then the first guy was effed up. And it also was like, well, if the ship is now on fire, shouldn't people be panicking?
Yeah.
But they're like, nah, we're just going to stare at this dude. I mean, seeing a human burst into flames would be terrifying.
Yeah.
You'd be like, but I felt like that was weird. Like, no one was like, get water. Or like,
oh, shit.
they're just like, oh, let's just let it burn. Let's let the mast of the ship burn.
I think just the entire idea of the thing is a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is not the worst thing, but just like... So there's a boat and everybody dies on it.
And we know that from the beginning.
Yes.
So
there's no... In the end, one guy survives because they show that no one has survived, that someone is going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, well, this is not very fun.
No.
It's never fun.
Yeah.
I don't think it's only in the places where it's not meant to be fun is it fun.
Exactly.
Like a kid on fire, that's funny. But they didn't intend it to be funny. They just did a really bad
it's
job.
just goofy.
Yes. I'm on fire.
I'm on fire.
He should have said it.
Very weird.
I'm on fire. I'm a fire kid.
Now this, but like Evil Dead style
Yes.
wacky would have been kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just thought about this. Do you remember the Leslie Nielsen Dracula movie?
Dracula Dead and Loving
I
It.
need to see it.
Yeah.
I remember loving it as a kid. I'm sure it's so stupid
Has to
now.
be horrible, right?
Horrible. But I used to love that movie. I just thought about that.
Hey.
Take me back.
Tweet at us at Food Courtcast with the entire movie Dracula Dead and Loving
Yes.
It. Put it in the comments.
I once saw a GIF on RIP Twitter, whatever it's called now. I
X.
don't know.
You
But
can
like,
call it Twitter.
okay, I'll still call it Twitter.
Yeah.
And X is just a T on its side. So,
Wow.
it's still...
And Itter is just made of different X's. It's like an X cut up. You cut the
It's
I.
an iteration of an
Ooh.
X. See?
Are you listening, Elon Musk?
Yeah, we figured it out. We decoded your mystery. Give us $1 billion,
You
please.
fuck.
You fuck. I would love... It'd be hilarious if he was a fan of this podcast. Like, that would be such a
He just
bizarre...
refuses to tweet about it.
Yeah, he refuses.
He's like, I want them to stay
It
cool.
actually might be bad, yeah, if he did.
Oh,
Because a lot
yeah.
of people know about us, but they'd be like, don't support... There'd be a big backlash against us. But I don't remember...
We're good people.
Oh, someone tweeted... They responded with a GIF that is the entirety of Shrek. I was like, that is crazy. I don't even know how you do that.
Hey,
Wild.
tweet at us if you have a GIF that is the entirety of Shrek.
Or
please.
Shrek. Or Dracula Dead and Loving You.
What's the worst part of this movie?
Okay,
You never told me.
my low main of this picture and
Yes.
why I shrieked with laughter but I had to hold it inside. I was like struggling. I was starting to lose. I was like, I gotta like, yeah, I was like, oh my God. So Dracula.
Sure. Dracula, he's in it.
I almost wish they hadn't have called him that because as soon as she did, I was like, I was hoping for some other name. Like, in my village, we call him, anything.
The
like,
black
the whatever.
demon, the gray, something like that.
Or what is the thing he's called in the old movie? Oh, what is that?
Nosferatu.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Like,
Yeah, that'd be
we call
fun.
him Nosferatu. That would have been like, ooh.
Yeah.
But it just felt goofy at that point. I was
It
like,
was goofy.
And then him.
Was that the worst part?
No, he
Oh,
just
okay.
doesn't ever feel like Dracula. He just
No.
feels like some creature. It was weird.
He's just a monster.
But
He has none of the sex appeal
No,
of Dracula.
he doesn't.
He doesn't seem like he's not having fun. We're not having fun. He's not. He doesn't like to eat.
Ship life has not been kind to Dracula. He's over
He
it.
has no joy in his life, which is sad. If you're gonna live forever
At
and
least
eat
have
people,
fun with it.
like when I was talking about mindlessly forcing fries into my face, that I don't find joy in that. But if I'm like really taking the time
It's like, oof.
and like having a chocolate,
Yes.
you put it in your mouth and just go
Savor it.
He never goes blood.
That would have been way more interesting.
Yes.
Or if they had like done a little trick on us to where all the stuff they showed in the trailer with him as this creature was only like a bit of it, and then he like was a bit more of a character would
That'd
have
be
been really
fun,
interesting.
rather than him just going, you will be afraid of me one day.
Yeah, one day. But
Even that would have been better, probably.
that would, yeah. I really think an Evil Dead style, just like goofy
Yeah.
Dracula would be, because that's scary. It's even scarier. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, this guy's insane.
Yeah, if someone's silly and they're eating you,
That's bad
nothing
news.
worse.
Like a panda. If a panda was eating you, you'd be like, man, I've been eaten by this silly looking
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah,
Ugh. Anyway.
killed by a whole group of flamingos.
That would be wild.
So fucked up. Because their beaks make like a clacking noise.
Yeah, that would suck. Flamingos, the movie. You get like trapped in the zoo. The flamingos get out. They're
hell yeah.
killing everybody. They're killing like creatures that they shouldn't, like lions and stuff.
Yeah.
The flamingos are killing. Wild.
Like, you see the flamingos descend.
Yeah. Someone's like, they're leaning in close to like look at something like, what is that? And then a flamingo's beak just goes.
Oh,
That'd be crazy.
wait.
Uh-huh.
They're doing one of those old school looking through like a knot hole in the fence, but the flamingo beak comes through it and grabs them
Their nose.
and then pulls their entire body through the knot hole.
That would
Hey.
be wild.
These are just free ideas.
Yeah. Go
Because
off.
no one would pay.
No one would make
No one
that.
would pay
That
them.
would be the beauty of
Cowards.
if we did have a rich benefactor listening, we would love to make just some
Flamingos.
insane movies.
We'll make flamingos.
Honestly, I think I wouldn't care about making art, like artistic movie. I would make these like the most insane, stupid ideas, but well produced.
Yeah.
Would be really funny to see.
Yeah.
Anyway. But in a good way. I guess there would still be an art to it. But there was not an art to the lo mein of this picture, which was
Very little art in this.
the
movie.
way they take out Dracula, but they don't really take him out, but postpone
Oh.
him for a little bit.
Oh.
It is like
Stupid.
so poorly executed and just like
Yeah.
dumb, and the visual it gave me is so stupid. So, okay, the black guy's about to get eaten. The
Yeah.
doctor, I'm sorry, the black doctor is about to get eaten.
It's both.
He's both. He is both.
He's a man and he's a doctor.
He is a man. And he is, yep. And he's the first black man to graduate from Cambridge. That scene felt so out of place. I was
Very weird.
what? You're pirates. Like, what is this? It was like weird. I didn't get that. That was.
Yeah.
I had expected there'd be something like
Yeah.
that, but it
I'll
was,
have you know. Didn't you know I'm the only black man who's ever done a somersault before?
I'm the only black man on this ship. Oh yeah, I didn't. Oh, you're glad that you bring that up.
It's weird. None of us ever mentioned it before.
Yeah, and-
Except the one Russian guy.
Yeah. He did not like him.
In my country, we do not have you kind.
You don't do that. Dope. But as he's saying that, the other ship guy's like, oh, sorry. He says something like, that's very nice. It gets interrupted.
Oh, yeah.
And it just cracked me up. But I'm sorry. I keep getting derailed by my own brain.
Yeah.
The
worst part. Tell us about the very worst part.
He's being held up, and then Anna shoots. No, doesn't shoot him. What does she do? She cuts a rope.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Dracula, instead of just stepping out of the way, he's like, oh, and he lets go of the dude. The two of them jump off a thing, and in that time, he's not moved still.
No.
Even though he's fast as lightning.
Yeah.
And the ship breaks and, like, slams into him.
Yeah.
But when it does, he's like, he screeches like a, yeah. And it made me think like his balls got hit. It's like, and it made me die laughing. I was like, that is so funny.
It was so weird.
I was like, what a weird segment. That did not work.
I thought what was going to happen is like the whole time they had been showing the mast swinging.
Yeah.
Which is like a thing that has happened in other movies and people have been hit with it. But I thought that's what they were going to do is he's going to get hit with the mast and something would happen.
Yeah.
But instead, she cuts a rope and then the whole ship breaks in half.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It was super weird.
Wait, what did it do?
That one rope. You got to watch out for that rope because the whole ship will collapse.
Yeah, one side of the mast will fall
and it'll
break?
slam into Dracula's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, my balls! And then he just pushes it off and flies. I was like,
yeah.
What? It just was so odd that they had no real plan. They were just like, we'll get our guns and
shoot,
trap them and get off the boat. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Like the dude one of the guys falls into a pit or whatever that thing's called, and he's like, his bone's broken, so he's crawling.
Yeah.
And he's like breaking the boat open for water to come in.
Yeah.
But there's no like, okay, well, he's stuck down, he's gonna drown. It was just like, all right, I did that. It just didn't really make any sense.
And there's also no, someone's honking their horn.
Uh-oh.
There's no, like, stakes to that.
Yeah.
Like, normally when a boat is filling with water, that's like, oh, no, we better get off the boat fast because the boat is filling with water. But they never cut back to it. Or
no, it doesn't.
it's like, hey, it's filling with water.
Yeah, I just remember that. Also, like, the plan of sinking a ship when there's a creature that can fly away does not make any sense.
No.
Like, if they had put a bunch of gunpowder in the hole or whatever, and then somehow got him down in there and blown it up, that would have made way more sense. Something like that. It was just weird. It just made no sense.
They just didn't have an idea. Yeah, they're like, what if we don't come up with an idea?
Yeah, let's not.
Wouldn't it be fun? Since he's got to live at the end because we need to make this big sequel that we're planning.
Yes, oh yeah.
What if we don't come up with an idea?
That would be wild.
That was the pitch meeting.
They've already made the Dracula movie, and they're like, oh, but I just feel like we need more setup for this.
Like, what happened on the boat, man?
Yeah, I want to know. It is odd.
Like, how did this Black Doctor know Dracula already? Because he's got to know Dracula.
How would he have? What if? Okay, hold on.
Okay.
We make a really just kind of fine movie.
You know, just like whatever.
Another one you'll just forget about existing.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we know the effects are just going to get horrible.
Oh,
they already aren't great.
Man.
They're already like, what the
It's
fuck?
going to look so bad.
Oh, and I've thought of another contender for low main.
Okay.
There's a part where they haven't really seen Dracula yet. It's early on.
Okay.
Again, I almost laughed when it happened. I was like, oh. This guy pulls out his little looking glass. And he's like looking around the ship. It was like a goofy bit. Like, it is hilarious. And you just see... He sees Dracula in the thing, and it's like all blurry, but it's like a monster face, like smiling. I was like, what the fuck?
Really weird.
The guy's like, oh, what was that?
Wait, where was he? Yeah, it's
goofy.
It's a bad idea to
a bat idea.
It's a bad idea
idea
to establish the fact that he can move so fast that he cannot be seen.
Yeah.
And then his undoing is like the world's slowest mast falling.
The world's slowest mast. Someone just turning with a spyglass will just see his face.
Yeah.
Like, what? Very odd. And none of the deaths were like that interesting. They're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
He just like flies and slices their neck. And then it's
he
like, okay.
sucks their blood.
That's it. It
Yeah.
just didn't, yeah.
They should have come up with some ideas.
Yeah, I think that would have been more interesting.
That's my main complaint. My main suggestion for people making a movie is just like come up with some ideas.
Yeah.
Just like if you have like a bad guy in the movie and you
Yeah.
plan to kill him, like think of something for that.
Think of
a thing for that. If he's gonna like kill different people, like
Ooh,
think of
get
something for that.
creative, Yeah.
just like have an idea for that.
That would be sick.
Just like, he gets his head pulled off.
Ooh.
He gets slashed open and like he's like sucking, I don't know, something like that. He gets his face slashed open and he's sucking through the something.
Ooh,
Oh.
have him do some finger licking.
Yeah. Or he's like, he grabs him by the leg and he's sucking his blood out of his leg. He doesn't have to suck the blood out of the neck every time.
I just sucked.
And also, he just does not. Yeah, he could.
That would be a crazy moment. Someone's peeing and then. That would be wild.
This tastes like piss. Oh, it is piss.
It
Whoops.
is piss. Pissula.
I like blood, not piss. Come
Yeah, but I mean, if some gets in there,
Yeah, it's fine,
it turns
you know.
out he likes.
He just likes piss. But there's no reason he can't bite your leg. This
Yeah,
is
bite
also
somewhere
a weird
else.
thing. Is he's just the most messy eater, and he's like the opposite of that old cliche about Native Americans that they use every part of.
Yeah,
them.
he don't
He just
care.
like takes a few sips and he's like, fine.
Yeah, it's not like their bodies are. There's probably more in there,
Yeah.
dude. Why don't you just eat the whole thing?
And honestly, he probably could have. I don't think he wants to do this, but he could have let a lot of the people live if he
Yeah.
had just like been a little more thrifty.
Yeah, why do you have to do it like that?
He
It
just
make
like,
no sense. Yeah,
oh, that's enough.
that's enough for me.
Yeah.
It could have been a thing in the night. Oh man, ow, man, my neck hurt. Ooh, I got a bite mark here. What's going on
that's
there?
weird.
Oh no, I guess I'll just keep going to sleep every night. I thought the ability of these people to just like go to sleep while there's some creature. Also, there was no. It just made no sense. They find the place he's been sleeping, and they don't do anything about it. They're like, well, we found where he sleeps, but we can't find him, so oh well. It's like, what? Do something about it.
Yeah,
Blow
burn
it
it.
up. Throw it off the ship. I don't
Yeah.
know. It was weird. I would have just thrown all that shit off the ship.
A lot of scenes towards nothing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we better find the thing. We gotta search. Oh, we're pulling things off, and we use the secret thing to get into the secret thing.
Conk.
Oh, there's dirt.
There's
and
dirt.
maggots.
All right.
Well, we found it
And that's it.
and cut.
I did like that his cane was just in there for no reason. Yeah. Well, I'll just put it in there.
He didn't bring a coat,
Yeah. No.
just the cane.
What
Weird.
if he had and then been in the bar like just with the cane, but in full, he was just a full bat creature? That would be wild.
Boy, what can I get you for dinner, sir?
You. Bites. What's the part where the guy's like, "Please, no," and Dracula goes, "Please, no."
Oh, that is pretty good.
I was like, "That's wild."
pretty good.
He looks hilarious. He looks almost like Gollum or something.
Yes, he looks
like-
exactly. It's really
Weird. His teeth are really spread out at first.
Yeah.
His design just didn't really have any like. It didn't really seem cohesive or anything. Or
It seemed like they were trying to make him bigger,
yeah,
but he got too big too fast.
yes, and we didn't see it really.
Yeah, and there's one time when he kind of gets strong shoulders.
Yeah.
And that's like the only transformation.
I would have loved to see the wings develop.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like that didn't. Yeah, they didn't really.
That would have
do
been
that.
an idea to put it
That
in the
would
movie.
have been an idea.
If we're just throwing out like, hey, what if there was
Yeah,
a
this
thing that happened?
It feels like a freaking writer's strike movie, though it happened before
Yeah.
the writer's strike. Maybe this was one of those I've heard about. They're like called like mini rooms where they force you to write like a whole show in like 3 days with like a bunch of people. Maybe they did this for the movie and it just was like, I don't know, there.
They were like, oh, it's almost time for a strike. Just write it quick.
Just write it quick.
They're on a boat. Remember that book? Well, first off, this is important. We got to say this is from that book.
I can't believe that was one of the weirdest things I've seen. Like,
yeah.
It isn't necessary at all.
No.
Almost every time like a movie starts with the words, if it's not historical, really,
yeah.
Like, what? Just leave it. We don't need this.
The beginning of Master and Commander is something like, it's the year 1749. Boats are fortresses, or something really awesome like that, and you're like, okay, we're starting a movie. This is great.
Yeah, you don't need much.
Boats do cool shit.
Hell,
is essentially what the words say, and you go, yeah,
boats,
good.
Boats.
Yeah,
boats.
you get stoked for boats, but this is sort of the opposite. It's like, this isn't real,
and everyone died. Like, it was like such a weird way to open it. I was like, why? We understand that as an audience that this is the ship that Dracula uses to get over.
Yeah,
but you don't need to have a scene where someone's like, oh, I can't go on the boat. And there was nothing. I can't
go on the boat. Everyone's dead.
Nothing on the boat was that scary. Like, I was hoping it would be something like, oh, they got destroyed. Like, that's why he was, like, freaking out. But everyone was just kind of just dead.
Yeah.
And
didn't they throw everyone off the side of the boat?
Yeah, all the people who died before the last 20 minutes, they're all in the ocean. And then there's, like, 3 dudes. One of them's dead in the bottom of the boat. Yeah. One of them's the captain on the ship who died peacefully, and one was in the sails. But I'm pretty sure they would have probably all fallen off the boat in the wrecking. And who knows? It just was kind of a mess. But yeah, the start was bad.
It made me It made me feel like I was going to fall asleep, which can happen in good movies.
Oh, for sure.
Happens to me in nearly every Tarkovsky movie.
My gosh, I don't.
Right on the edge.
Yeah. What is the movie?
Oh, Bellatar movie. Werckmeister Harmonies.
Oh, that was a beautiful movie, but I was struggling.
Right on the edge, yeah.
Very struggling. Oppenheimer, I was struggling at the midway point. I was like, I am about to pass out. Yeah. Like, fully. And then, I think it was Andrei Rublev I watched. Oh, yeah. For some reason, we started at night, and I was like, I'm really trying. And it was a great movie, but I was just like,
and this was it wasn't intended to be slow, but it was somehow
slow. It wasn't really particularly scary. There were times where I got scared by things that weren't someone like saying someone's name really loud. I was like, but that was probably I was in a trance, and I was like, oh, right.
Oh, we're watching a movie. I forgot.
Right, we're watching a movie. Yeah, nothing was. Even like the chef like sailing away in the little boat, it just was handled so poorly. Like,
what happened to him? I don't even remember.
Dracula lands on the boat
and gets him,
but it's not shown really.
Oh yeah, it
would have been amazing if he had like flown over the ship and like ripped his body or something. Yeah. Like, do something creative.
Yeah,
it just wasn't. They didn't really try. It felt like with a lot of it.
But we can't only talk about. The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
It is the last time I will talk about this movie.
Absolutely. The thing is, like, I don't even think anyone will ask me about it. No one's gonna be like, "Hey, how was the Last Voyage of the Demeter?"
Yeah, who's gonna say that?
Yeah, no one will say it. We also watched other movies this week, which brings us to a segment called Pan Express Presents. Express yourself about the movies you watched this week. What's the music?
It's like this. Ding 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 ding. It's time for the Pan Express. Boop boop, because we got some things expressed. Ding ding about the things we watched. Boop ding this week. Dong dong dong. What did you watch this week, Sean? I hope it was really good. If it wasn't, then don't worry about it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Dude. I watched Jailer.
Oh, Jailer.
It's an Indian movie.
Ooh.
And it's about it's insane. It's about this guy whose son, he's like 70 and he's the hero. And his son gets kidnapped.
Oh shit.
So he goes on a killing spree. And he's killing everybody.
Wow.
And then spoiler alert, a bunch of other shit happens. Actually, I won't spoil it.
Wow.
But it's just nuts.
Yeah, just an insane ride.
It's nuts. Lots of people getting blasted.
Ooh.
Lots of people getting their heads cut off.
Classic.
Lots of people getting hit in the head with hammers.
Yeah.
And then put into big cans.
Oh.
Where that are filled with some kind of acid that makes their body melt. And they're like, oh, fuck, this sucks.
Please stop.
This was...
I don't like this.
Yeah, please.
Not a fan.
And, yeah. I don't know if it was, like, definitely a lot better than The Last Voyage of Demeter.
Yeah.
But it was just a mess. But it was fun. It was at least a fun mess.
You gotta aim for something. If you know your movie's a mess, at least give some fun.
They were absolutely going... There was no lack of ideas. They're like, in this movie, 50 guys get shot in the head. In this part of the thing, there's ladies, and they get blood all over them because people are getting their heads cut off.
Classic.
In this part,
yeah.
they had a bunch of ideas. In this part, there's like a fat taxi driver, and there's 4 guys who are all dressed with mustaches. And in this one, and there's a short guy too.
Yeah,
and he's got braces. It's a lot of ideas.
It's like you have
almost
you
too many, but good.
If you have too many, it's bad. If you have too little, it's bad.
But this is like right on the edge of being too many, but still kind of fun.
Yeah, at least be fun.
So if you like having fun, if you like to see people's heads cut off, if you like to see a man, lots of times to show he's standing somewhere, you see him swing his arm into frame with his glasses. That's to indicate like how he's in a place.
Okay.
If you're like, I wonder if the main character is here. You just see like with this glasses, and then he puts them on his face, and you go, oh, there he is.
That's crazy.
Really crazy movie. But yeah, 1 thumb up. 1.5.
1.5 thumbs up.
Like Last Voyage of the Demeter is like you like don't even remember
your
have
hands
thumbs
are
anymore.
both up to the
just
side
like
oh.
Yeah, but this was like thumb
1 thumb like that review would be so funny. 1 thumb
One
up.
thumb up. Isn't that enough for you?
You're not getting the second. I'm sorry.
You're not getting 2 thumbs, idiot.
I'm so sorry. I watched a little movie, a picture, if you will, a moving picture, a series of images on a screen.
24. How many frames per second?
I think it was 24. It may have been 30.
48. 30?
May have been 30.
Really?
That's the standard now. Isn't that weird? Like our phones shoot at 30. YouTube content's mostly at 30.
Why?
It's so interesting. I don't know why. Maybe something in the...
I bet they want us to show... They want us to think it's different than a movie. So
yeah.
It's like, oh, look how different it looks.
That is true. That is true. I mean, you can do like 23.999 and it, it's close enough, I guess.
Yeah.
But, the movie I saw was Theater Camp.
Oh, was it any good?
So,
no.
It sucks because I went in, I was limping because I had run too hard that day, and I was like, oh, God. And I sat down, I was watching it, and for some reason, the only other people really in there was like a row behind me, and then 2 people were sitting in my row, but my seat was right next to them, and I was like, I'm not sitting right next to you. This is weird. So I just,
no reason.
Especially in the recliners, it feels so awkward.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. So I put a space between us.
Yeah. Do they just move over when?
Exactly. Do you mind if we move over so we're closer to you?
Yeah, we wanted to sit here on purpose. These actually aren't even our seats.
Yeah, these aren't even.
We like friends.
We like friends. You're our friend now. The movie had a lot of heart, and I totally get what they were trying to go for, and I really wanted to like it. But a lot of it just falls super flat. Like, just full-on bits where you're just like, this is not funny.
Oh.
Like, this isn't working. And they keep, let's do another one of those bits. You're like, no, it's not happening. And then, like, one-liners and stuff where you're just like, what? And then they made a huge mistake
Oh no.
Do you mind spoiler? Or?
No.
Okay.
I will never.
Yeah, I will never.
I mean, maybe I would. I might have possibly very small chance, but
Yeah.
now that you told me it's bad, I definitely
It's
will
like
not
a
watch it.
really, it's a bad version of like Best in Show. Like
Okay.
they really, you could tell the influence.
Oh boy.
They're like Waiting for Guffman's probably the closest one.
Yeah.
But Waiting for Guffman, those movies are great. I love those
So
movies to
fucking
death.
good.
They're
Except
so
the bad
beautiful.
ones.
Yeah, there's some really bad ones.
What's the one where they're all trying to get an Oscar?
Oh, I don't like that one.
sucks
What
so
is
bad.
it?
It
For
really-
your consideration.
It really like ruined.
Yeah.
It made me so sad because like Best in Show
I
and
know.
Mighty Wind were like so
They're
beautiful
awesome.
and funny and
Yeah.
wonderful. And that one, I was just like, oh man, this really ruined my day by being
It's
bad.
tough. I think Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, and Mighty Wind are the three
They're so
that
perfect.
you need. But
Just
the rest,
beautiful movies.
just that's the trilogy. Leave it alone.
You don't need anything else.
Anyway, they were trying for that type of thing, but this is the real thing they messed up on. They messed up on. So Amy Sedaris, who I love,
Sure.
thinks great. At the beginning, she's like the character they're following, and you're like, "Oh, cool! This will be a fun movie." And then she she gets in a coma at the very beginning, and you're like, "What?" So she's not in the rest of the movie, and you're like, "That sucks." I like that character. She was the only funny bit for a second.
Oh,
They're like, "Let's get
no.
rid of it. Let's throw in this dude who has." I forget his name. He was in that show about the kid who like spray paints a giant dick or something. Do you remember that? It was on Netflix a long time
Sounds
ago.
great.
I forget. I think he can be funny, but it just didn't really work in this. Like he's like a
Oh, no.
YouTube influencer guy, and he has to run the camp
Ugh.
because he's her son or whatever. I was like,
Oh,
this just really isn't working.
sounds bad.
It was a rough time. I felt bad.
I don't want to watch it.
No, I'm sorry,
won't
theater
watch it.
camp. I want movies like that to be made, but man,
Yeah.
that one just was not good.
You know, just because they're made doesn't mean we have to like them.
That's true.
That
Is true.
Joy. What was the Joy Ride?
Yes, that movie.
You know that can be. I'm glad they made it.
I'm
but I
glad they
don't-
made it too. It
but I
gave
don't wanna
me
watch it.
a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
It made me go, yeah, hey, this wasn't for me, and
Hey,
that's fine.
you know, for some people, this podcast isn't for them, but
No,
for
yeah.
you, the listener, you love it, and which means you better give us 5 stars,
Please.
on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Castbox.
Castbox.
I don't know, but whatever your other things are. Give us a review, too. Say, like, wow, it sure was great to listen to the boys talk about the movie
Yes.
this week. And thank us. Please thank us for
Thank
watching
us.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
We did it for you.
'Cause honestly, if I was just watching this movie, but not for a podcast, I would have just fallen asleep and it would have been nice.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been a nice afternoon and I would have
great.
gone like, oh, I guess the movie's over.
I guess so.
Well, that's fine.
And maybe an employee could wake you up. Sir?
Sir, excuse me?
Oh, did Dracula get to the...
Did they kill Dracula, or did he perhaps knock with his cane on the floor to remind the Black Doctor that he was there, and the Black Doctor maybe sort of made us feel like he was Van Helsing, but he wasn't.
And then
did that happen?
they tell you, and they say that exact thing. Yeah, the Black Doctor did, but like they explain it all
That's
back.
exactly what happened. Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, and if you like YouTube, you may be watching it on YouTube now, but you can watch all of these, and you don't have to just listen.
Many of us.
The best thing to do is to play the podcast and also play the YouTube at the exact same time.
Play it on as many different
Yeah.
devices that you have.
Different IP addresses.
Yes.
Just count yourself.
Get on your VPN.
Yes.
Go from. Please don't try to start trouble, though.
Yeah, don't
That's all I
start
ask. Is
trouble.
don't start trouble.
No trouble, please.
Michael,
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Sean, thank you. On behalf of Michael Hampton, I'm Sean Parrott saying, bon appetit.